Welcome to Toot Your Own Horn, episode 10. I can't believe we're at episode 10. And it's a special one because we're here with Belinda Sanchez, who has an incredible wind instrument, the human voice. And I'm so excited to have you tell your story about how you came to be a singer and why you still want to sing and do.
Oh, well, thank you for the lovely introduction. I'm really happy to be here talking to you. And yeah, so I kind of, I sing and that's my main instrument. I mean, I've dabbled around with other instruments, but none of them really stuck. And singing is one of those things that surprised me. That was like one of those things that I never anticipated to do. And it's really just, I think, like I said, a funny story about how it all started because it was seventh grade and it was picture day. And I remember, you take your picture and then they started doing like the announcements for like extracurriculars. And so we had heard one, and I was in gym class. I remember this. Over the speaker, they say, anybody who wants to be in seventh grade girls choir, go to the choir room now for the picture. I didn't think anything of it. And I'm sitting next to my best friend at the time. And we're like, whatever. And then, but we were also like, maybe we should go just to take the picture. And we're just like, ha ha ha, whatever. Right. And then the gym teacher walks up and he's like, didn't you guys hear the announcement? You guys should go take the picture. And I'm like, but I don't want to be in seventh grade girls choir. And he's like, so what? Just go to be in the picture. And I'm like, and I felt like that's immoral, like as a seventh grader. Like I was like, no.
Kind of took you
So
into it, sort of, wasn't he?
yeah, he kind of pushed me into it. And so me and my best friend at the time, we go over there, we take our picture, we're all cheesy. And then, we left and we didn't think anything of it. And then about a week later, there's another announcement at the end of the day, and they're like, anybody who took the seventh grade girls choir picture, there's gonna be practice today after school. And we're like, oh crap. Like
They recruited you and they did it by getting you to take a picture and then saying you needed to come to this event or rehearsal. And you obviously did. You went.
Yeah, yeah. So actually I tried to get out of it. I tried to get out of it and my friend tried to get out of it. And we went up to the choir instructor and we said to him, "Oh, we really just wanted to take the picture. I didn't really want to be in the choir." And then he was like, "What do you mean you don't want to be in the choir?" And I was like, "I don't know how to sing." And he was like, "Well, I can teach you." And I was like, he's like, just come to the first practice. And if you don't like it, then you don't have to come back. And I was like, okay. And yeah, I went to the first practice and I had a great time. And then I was in choir ever since. And
Why did they do it that way?
I don't think they thought about it. I think as adults, they were like, oh, wait, the seventh grade girls choir is going to need a picture. And they wanted to like take a professional-ish looking picture. But they ended up taking a different replacement picture later because they realized that a bunch of people went to go take this picture and nobody actually decided to be in the choir.
Maybe they were that naive. To me, that's a really deliberate recruiting tactic. To me, I see that as being kind of like sinister in the sense that we're going to get all these girls to sing, which on one hand is, you could say, it's brilliant because how do you get someone to go, ha, or like open their mouth, right?
Right.
Get
Yeah.
them to be willing to try.
Yeah. I mean, I think some people just naturally are inclined to want that sort of, they already know they gravitate toward it. But at that age, I mean, I never really thought that it was going to be a thing for me, I don't know. And then, once I started, it really felt so like alleviating, like, and I didn't notice it at the time, but I think when I noticed it was like in high school. You have to pick your electives
Mhm.
and you pick like your top whatever electives. And I guess choir was too full or something. And so I didn't get into choir and I was in art instead. And I remember feeling like, oh man, I really wish I was in choir. Like I really want to be in choir. And actually, the same music teacher was visiting the high school one day and he popped into one of the art rooms and he's like, I'm sad to see that you're not in choir. What happened? And I was like, I tried to be in choir. They didn't take me. And he's like, what? And so he's like, no, we're going to fix this right now. And so he took me with him to go meet the choir director. And he's like, this is Belinda. She's great. She wants to be in choir. Like, can we make this happen? And he's like, yeah, we need more girls in the third period choir class. Like, does that work for your schedule? And I was like, well, I'm in math at that time. And then they're like, I'm sure they can find another math class for you. And so they did. They moved my whole schedule around and then I was able to be in choir. So, and then I was in choir ever since then. And I did some musicals along the way. But then, you move on with life and it's like college and life. And I think in college I did try to pursue like a singing sorority, and I didn't know that it was a sorority at the time, and I just wasn't really interested in that. And there I remember because there was a questionnaire that was talking about like how much time do you have to commit to this, and what do you feel about sororities? And I was like, oh, I don't really care about sororities, which I think is super funny because I ended up joining a sorority later, but irrelevant. But yeah, so they didn't take me into their whatever group that was, and I moved on and did other things. But then recently, like this past winter, it was like December, and a friend of mine hosts an open mic, and he was like, hey, I'm going to host the open mic, you guys should come, it's going to be a good time. And he had thrown it out there a few times. I'm like, yeah, whatever, open mic. But my husband was out of town, and I was like, you know what, I should go to this open mic. I should get out. I should enjoy, my life. And
Yeah.
so I went to this open mic, and I told him before, I said, hey, I don't know if I want to sing or not. He's like, yeah, you should sing. You should sing. And I'm like, all right, well, what do you think I should sing? Because I was like, I don't have like a band or anything to accompany me. He's like, no, don't worry. I'll get you people to perform with you, but learn these songs. And he gave me like Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes
Mhm.
and Valerie by Amy Winehouse. He's like, learn these songs and they're gonna do the backup. Don't worry about it. All right, whatever. So there's like 24 hours before the show, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to learn these songs. These are songs I don't know at all. Like not the lyrics of, you hear them on the radio, but
Yeah.
I was like, all right. And so I was just like looping them and listening to them like over and over and over again. And I was like, all right, we're gonna try this out. But there's something different, I think, about being on a stage as like the front person of
Mhm.
like a band, and it was really something magical that I forgot about. Like it reignited something in me. And I was like, you know what? And it became my New Year's resolution for this year. I was like, no, this is something that I have to go back to. This is something, and I think that's really a valid thing for a lot of people, that I think is probably going to be something that I want people to remember from this interaction is go back to the things that sparked joy in you when you were young, because that is so important when you get into this adulthood of the grind of, wake up, go to work, come home, make dinner, clean up, watch TV for 30 seconds, and then go to bed, and then you do it all over again, over and over and over. I think you really need to break up that monotony and focus on your own self and what feels good to you. And for me, it's singing, and for other people, it might be an instrument or maybe it's art. It doesn't matter what it is. It's important to pursue those passionate things. I think there's something very special about music in particular. As a singer, you have to think a lot about the breath that you use and breathing in general, and making sure you have enough breath to support the notes that you're trying to hit. And I think that that's something that is similar in, your wind instruments and your vocals. The
Completely.
breathing is really important. And I know that I've kind of spoken to you about this before, where we've touched on how I have a lot of background knowledge into other things because of my background in massage therapy and in occupational therapy, where the breath is so important to self-regulation and the mind, and how taking deep breaths is going to center your mindset for you to function more optimally. Taking a breath is really important to kind of focus yourself
Mhm.
and just get the air into your lungs and into your bloodstream so that your brain can function better. I mean, in the most simplest way, I mean, that's breaking it down into as simple as I can, I think.
What about it works? Why is that so motivating?
Honestly, if I think about it enough, I feel like the increase of the breath, naturally your body is going to give you a response that encourages endorphins, when these hormones that make us happy and make us feel good. Historically speaking, we as people have always centered around music. There's always music. Like there's, wind instruments dating all the way back to, like cave people times because these are the things that, helped people to cope that you may be experiencing, whether it be loss, hunger, whatever it might have been at the time. I mean, music, and if you look at music and you are able to kind of see like in different time periods what these people were experiencing and what their music sounds like, it says a lot about the people. So I think it's really interesting to really think about music as something that is really just deeply ingrained into every one of us. Whether or not we tap into it, it's there.
Yeah. If somebody was listening to this and was just really fascinated by what you were saying and wanting to learn to sing, or if they never had done that and it was really hard for them to think about it, what would you tell them to get them to do it right now?
I think it really depends on where they are in life. I mean, like myself at the school age, join the choir. Join the choir. It's fun. That's
Yeah.
the first step, I think, is, you have music class in like grade school, but then later music class kind of, you get to choose your electives, and a lot of people don't think to choose music, but take a stab at it. It might be fun. Or, I'm notorious for singing in my car. I probably look like a crazy person, but everywhere I go, I'm singing in my car. If you're an adult and you're seeking to get involved with music, the simplest thing is sing your favorite song, sing your favorite song. But if you want to delve deeper, I mean, there's YouTube, and you can always, voice lessons on YouTube or voice lessons on Spotify or vocal warm-ups on Spotify. But when you reach a certain point, you are going to want a little more, and you are going to want to invest in yourself. And there are people who offer voice lessons. I mean, you could totally Google like voice lessons near me and it'll pop up. Or you could even go to like your local music stores and go and talk to those people. And I mean, they're like really happy to help. I mean, the people who work at music stores, they love music, like, and they know so much. Like I said earlier, like when I first got started, when I decided to kind of really go on this trip to, I need to explore music, I went to the local music store and I was like, I like this microphone. I like the way it sounds. And I went up to the counter. I said, I'd like to buy this, sir. And he said, well, do you have a condenser or whatever this unit is called? And I said, what is that? And he explained to me what it was. And I didn't get all of his stuff to set it up. And he's like, here you go. And then when I opened the boxes, it had all the materials. And so now I can record my music if I want to, or whatever I want to use the microphone for. But really, I mean, it's just so easy to get out there. There's even an app nowadays that they have, Simply Sing. That's what it's called. It's an app called Simply Sing, and it will guide you through like, say this sentence and, shout 3 times and, whatever. And then it'll tell you where your vocal range is. And then it'll suggest like, these artists are in this vocal range. And for me, that was really
Oh,
helpful because, I mean, that's the thing is like, I think a lot of people don't give themselves the chance because, oh, I can't sing. Well, like, okay, well, what are you trying to sing? Are you trying to sing All I Want for Christmas Is You? Because Mariah Carey hits dog notes. Like, we can't hit that. I mean, maybe, but I mean, find something that works for you. I mean, any category that you decide to go down, you can make it work for you. It's just, you just got to want it enough.